Hello and welcome back to Betting Expert, and I'll look ahead to game week 24 of the Premier League. I've got 10 tips for you across all of the 10 fixtures, where all of the advice is coming from tipsters that have a proven, profitable track record of tips posted to bettingexpert.com. Now, if you disagree with the tips or reckon you could actually do better, then post your predictions onto the website via the link below. Now, looking back at last week's prediction video, we ended up with 4 winners, 2 pushes and 4 losers. So let's see if we can get a bit better this week. And if you like this kind of thing, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let's get stuck in. To kick things off, we're going to look at Leicester v Liverpool, Saturday's early kickoff. Now, I had no idea what was going on with Aston in goal for Liverpool last week. I mean, you can't even get away with that passing at Sunday League level, let alone against the Premier League leaders. The Brazilian keeper's mistakes, of course, saw Liverpool lose at Anfield for the second game running and essentially gifts Man City the title. I can't see how they're going to lose it from here. But anyway, on to Saturday, where Liverpool travelled to take on a Leicester side that were held to a 0-0 draw away at Wolves last time out. In this one, we're actually expecting goals, over 2.5 to be specific, as 6 of the last 7 meetings between them have resulted in 3 goals or more. Shout out to our tipster Northside for that bet. At 3 o'clock, Crystal Palace host Burnley, and our tipsters see this one only going one way, mainly because of the absence of one key player. Of the last 5 games that Wilfried Zaha has missed for Crystal Palace, they've lost all 5, and they've not scored in 15 of the 19 Premier League games that he's missed for them. They look toothless against Leeds, and this looks like a great opportunity for Burnley to get their first away win since that win at Anfield back in January. And our tipster Greens is betting on Burnley on the Asian handicap, essentially the same as backing them on the draw no bet market. Man City v Tottenham has produced some whopper contests over the years, including what I rank as one of the greatest football matches I've ever seen, at least in recent memory anyway, that epic 4-3 win for City in the Champions League quarterfinals back in 2019. And this weekend's clash between Pep and Jose's sides could well throw up more drama, but we are expecting a closer contest than City have been used to of late. Despite the hockey score that we saw when Spurs lost 5-4 to Everton in midweek and City themselves scoring 3 away at Swansea, our proven profitable tipster Greens is predicting under 3.25 goals at the Etihad, and that would have been a winning bet in 3 of the last 4 meetings between these two. Down on the south coast, Brighton host Aston Villa in Saturday's late kickoff, and the bookies are having a hard time splitting these two. Villa do go in as the slight favourites after beating Arsenal last time out, but Brighton do go into this one on the back of a 4-game unbeaten run at the Amex. I think even more impressively, of all keepers to have played at least 10 Premier League games this season, only Ederson and Mendy of Chelsea have a better minutes per goal conceded rate than the Seagulls' Robert Sanchez. That's 1 goal conceded every 98 minutes. Personally, I want a Villa win, but it's over to our tipster Greens with the advice here. He's going for Brighton to win on the draw no bet market. He sees that as a great value bet. Poor old Southampton. The sorry Saints have now lost 5 Premier League games on the bounce since beating Liverpool. Now, a home clash with Wolves on Sunday does look like a great opportunity to pick up a win though, as they've not won away in the Premier League since November of last year. Now, we are filming this ahead of the FA Cup clash between these two, and that might give us a better idea of how these two will face off in the Premier League, but home advantage looks to be the key difference maker in this one, so Southampton on the draw no bet market looks like a top tip for the match. And for you romantics out there, one fun fact about this game: of all the Premier League teams to have played on Valentine's Day, Southampton are the only ones never to receive a card. Poor old Southampton. Man United travelled to take on West Brom at the Hawthorns on Sunday, and they go into this one as the odds-on favourites to win. The lowly baggies have only picked up 2 wins all season, and there's not much in the form book to suggest that United won't win this one easily. One straw that West Brom could be clutching at is the fact that under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, United have actually lost more Premier League games against sides in the relegation zone than they have against sides in the top 4. So do United switch off in these easier games? Well, our tipsters aren't expecting that this time. Our tipster Footy Bowl is actually backing United -1.5 on the Asian handicap, which of course they'll need to win by 2 clear goals for that bet to be a winner. Now, you have to go back nearly 20 years to find the last time that Leeds beat Arsenal in all competitions, but today's Leeds side is of course a very different beast to the one that won back in 2003, and obviously so is this Arsenal side. I mean, who would have predicted that Arsenal would be down in 11th after 23 games, with Leeds even one place above them? Strange times indeed. But on to Sunday's encounter at the Emirates, and despite the fact that only the bottom 4 sides in the Premier League have failed to score in more games than Arsenal this season, we are expecting goals in this one, and it's our tipster Akoibrat that's betting on over 2.5 goals as the best bet here. Everton did their best to nearly throw away a 3-1 lead over Spurs before eventually winning 5-4 in extra time in a dramatic FA Cup clash in midweek, but now their attention has turned to Fulham, a side they've actually beaten every time they faced them at home in the Premier League. The Toffees aren't in great form at Goodison, winless in their last 3 in fact, but with Fulham not winning in the Premier League since November of last year, you have to fancy the chances of Everton here, and if Everton's last few matches are anything to go by, this one could well be a goal fest. And once again, it's our tipster Greens with the advice in this one, backing over 2.5 goals as the best bet for Everton v Fulham. On Monday night, West Ham host a Sheffield United side who look to be turning their fortunes around, if only ever so slightly. The Blaze come into this one having won 3 of their last 6 games and also winning in the FA Cup in midweek. That should have some confidence here. While the bookies do have West Ham as the clear favourites, it's our world champion tipster, the Trollman Shah, who spotted value in the Asian handicap market and is actually backing Sheffield United +1. Would you be betting against a tipster that has over 40,000 units of profit registered on Betting Expert? Well, let us know in the comments below. The final match of Game Week 24 sees Chelsea host Newcastle. Now, things are going pretty well so far for Thomas Tuchel, winning 3 of his first 4 Premier League matches in charge at Chelsea, but Newcastle are not in terrible forms themselves, winning 2 of their last 3. Now, the bookies do have this one down as an easy win for Chelsea, as they've beaten Newcastle the last 7 times they've played at Stamford Bridge, but we're actually giving Newcastle a fighting chance in this one. Our tipster Greens is backing the Magpies to cover the Asian handicap line of +1 3/4, meaning if they do lose by 1, you'll actually win your bet, and if they lose by 2, you'd get half of your stake back. Now, for more information on how Asian handicap betting works, just head on over to bettingexpert.com/academy.